My mom's nails dug into the back of my chair as she yanked it from beneath me. The screech of wood on tile cut through the noise of laughter and clinking glasses. Everyone turned. My cheeks burned as she hissed, loud enough for the entire hall to hear. "She doesn't deserve to sit here." Before we begin, drop a comment and tell us where are you from and from which city you're watching our videos. And after watching the whole video, don't forget to tell us what would you do in this situation. Be honest, tell me in the comments below. We read every comment. Let's begin. The words cracked like a whip, and I stumbled to my feet, steadying myself on the edge of the table. My brother, Ethan, sat at the center of the long decorated table in his graduation gown, grinning as though the entire night was scripted for him. All eyes, cousins, aunts, even strangers, burned into me. For a second, I couldn't breathe. The golden lights strung across the hall blurred, the applause still ringing for Ethan's speech fading into something else. Mockery. I forced my lips into a thin smile, even as my knees trembled. "It's fine," I muttered, my voice shaking. But it wasn't fine. Not when my own mother shoved me aside like an unwanted guest at my brother's celebration. "Stand over there," she ordered, her tone sharp as glass. "Don't ruin your brother's night with your presence." Gasps rippled across the table, but no one moved to defend me. My father's hand rested calmly around his wine glass, his expression stone cold. My sister Madison smirked into her drink, whispering something to her boyfriend that made them both laugh. I stood frozen, my fists tightening until my nails dug into my palms. My throat burned, but I swallowed the lump rising there. I refused to let them see me cry. Not here, not now. Ethan adjusted his cap and laughed, shaking his head. "Don't make a scene, Emily," he said casually, as though I were a child throwing a tantrum. "A scene?" I whispered. My voice cracked, but I raised it higher, stronger. "You dragged my chair away in front of everyone, Mom. If anyone's making a scene, it isn't me." The crowd shifted uncomfortably, some pretending to look at their plates, others leaning forward for more drama. My mom's lips curled into a cruel smile. "You should be grateful we even let you in here. This night is about your brother. You've done nothing with your life. Nothing worth celebrating. That's why you'll stand." Her words sliced through me, and for a split second I almost broke. Almost. But something inside me hardened instead. I squared my shoulders, refusing to let my tears fall. That was when the doors at the back of the hall creaked open. The air shifted. Conversations faltered. Heads turned as an older man stepped inside, his cane clicking against the marble floor. "My grandfather, Richard Cole, he wasn't supposed to be here. He rarely left his estate these days. His presence alone felt like thunder rolling into a clear sky. His eyes, sharp, steel gray, swept across the room, landing on me, then on my mother, who still gripped the back of my chair like she owned it. "What's happening here?" His voice carried, low and commanding. My mom straightened, flustered but defiant. "Dad, we were just—" But he cut her off with a single wave of his hand. His gaze narrowed. "It's time," he said slowly, each word deliberate, heavy, charged with something that made the hairs on my arms stand. "It's time for all of you to know who she really is." The room went silent. I felt my stomach twist, my heart pounding in my chest so hard it hurt. Who she really is. Every eye darted to me. Pale faces, raised eyebrows. Confusion flickered, then fear. My mother's smirk froze. My father's grip tightened on his glass until it almost shattered. Even Ethan, so smug just moments ago, blinked rapidly, his grin faltering. I swallowed hard, standing straighter even as my pulse raced. "Grandpa, what do you mean?" I asked, my voice trembling despite my effort to sound steady. His eyes softened for the first time, just for me. Then he looked at everyone else, his expression hardening like stone. "I mean," he said slowly, his voice echoing in the cavernous hall, "you've all treated her like nothing, like she doesn't belong. But tonight, you'll finally learn the truth. And when I say it, none of you will ever see her the same way again. Gasps erupted. My mom paled, her grip slipping from the chair. My father muttered something under his breath, his eyes darting nervously between me and Grandpa. "Dad, this isn't the place," my mom snapped, her voice sharp with panic. "This is exactly the place," he thundered back. His cane slammed against the floor. "You humiliated her in front of everyone, again. You've hidden lies for years, but not tonight. Not anymore." The hall erupted with whispers, people leaning toward one another, eyes wide. The tension in the air was suffocating, thick enough to choke on. I stood rooted to the spot, my heart hammering so violently I thought it might burst. My mind raced with questions. What truth? What could he possibly mean? And yet, beneath the confusion, a flicker of something else burned in me. Hope. Because for the first time in my life, someone wasn't telling me to stay silent. Someone was standing for me, and my entire family looked terrified. Grandpa's cane echoed against the polished floor as he walked closer, each step heavy with purpose. The room was still, so silent I could hear my own pulse in my ears. Ethan shifted uncomfortably in his seat, tugging at the collar of his gown. "Grandpa, you're making this dramatic." He tried to laugh it off, but his voice cracked halfway. Grandpa's eyes, sharp and unyielding, locked onto him. "Dramatic? You think humiliating your sister in front of strangers is just part of a show?" His gaze then swept across the table, landing on my mother. "Linda, do you know why I came tonight? Do you know what pushed me out of my house when I should have been resting?" My mom straightened her blazer, her cheeks pale yet her chin lifted in false defiance. "Dad, this is unnecessary. We're celebrating Ethan's achievement. Emily has nothing to do with this night." "Nothing?" Grandpa's voice rose, firm enough to shake glasses on the table. "The only reason this family has what it has is because of her. And you've been hiding it from her all these years." The words sliced through the air. I froze, my lips parting. "Because of me?" Gasps scattered across the hall. Whispers erupted, rippling like wildfire. Madison leaned toward her boyfriend, her smirk wiped clean. My father's face turned gray, as if the air had been sucked from his lungs. I felt my palms grow clammy. "Grandpa, what are you talking about?" He turned to me, his expression softening, though his voice carried fire. "Emily, you've spent your life believing you were less loved, less valued, less deserving. But that was never true. What they failed to tell you is that you are the one I chose." The room erupted. Aunts and cousins whispered fiercely. Ethan stood up, his chair scraping back. "What do you mean by that?" he demanded. Grandpa didn't even look at him. His voice thundered over the noise. "Years ago, when your grandmother passed, she left everything to me, with one condition, that I would pass it to the person in this family who showed true heart, humility, and strength. I didn't pick Ethan. I didn't pick Madison. I didn't pick Linda or Robert." He raised his cane and pointed directly at me. "I picked Emily." The room shattered with gasps. My mother's wine glass slipped from her hand and crashed to the floor, red liquid spreading like blood across the white cloth. Ethan's fists slammed on the table. "That's insane. She's done nothing." "She's just what?" Grandpa cut in sharply, his voice like steel. "Just the daughter you've all ridiculed? Just the girl you've treated as a shadow while you praised mediocrity? You call her nothing, but she is the one I've watched. Quietly, closely, every step." My breath caught. My eyes stung. I felt every gaze in the room burning into me, some shocked, some envious, some hateful. Madison's voice rose, shrill with panic. "This can't be true. You can't give everything to her. She doesn't deserve it." Grandpa's cane slammed against the ground, silencing her. "Enough! You have no idea how many lies have been told in this family. Tonight it ends. Emily deserves not just a seat at this table, but the head of it." The words echoed like thunder. My father finally stood, his voice trembling with anger. "Dad, you can't do this. We've built this family together. Everything we have is because of us, not her." But Grandpa's laugh was bitter, sharp. "You built it? Robert, everything you own is mine. And soon it won't be yours at all." He turned to the crowd, his eyes blazing. The documents are already signed. Emily is the rightful heir to the estate, the properties, the company shares. All of it! The hall exploded. Gasps, murmurs, people rising from their seats in disbelief. Cameras came out, flashes popping as cousins tried to record what was happening. I stood frozen, my legs weak, my mind reeling. Grandpa, my voice shook. Why didn't you ever tell me? His eyes softened again as he looked at me. Because I wanted to see if you'd break under their cruelty. I wanted to see if you'd turn bitter, or if you'd carry yourself with dignity. And you did. You stood when they pulled your chair away. You endured when they mocked you. You proved you are stronger than all of them combined. Tears welled in my eyes. But they weren't from pain anymore. They were from something else. Validation. Power. A shift I never thought I'd feel in this family. Ethan's voice rose in desperation. This is a joke, right? You're bluffing. She's nothing but a burden. Grandpa's eyes narrowed. Say one more word against her, and you'll find yourself out on the street with nothing but your diploma in your hand. Ethan's face went pale, his mouth snapping shut. I stood taller, inhaling deeply. For once, the weight pressing down on my chest was gone. For once, it wasn't me shrinking into the corner. It was them. The crowd's eyes were still on me, wide with disbelief. I could hear someone whisper, "She's the heir? Emily, after all these years?" And then it hit me. This was no longer their stage. It was mine. The hall buzzed with disbelief, whispers cutting through the air like blades. My hands trembled at my sides, but I refused to let anyone see fear. For the first time, it wasn't me standing on shaky ground. It was them. Ethan slammed his fist against the table, his voice cracking with rage. This is ridiculous. Grandpa, you can't just throw away everything we've worked for. Grandpa didn't flinch. His eyes narrowed. Worked for? Ethan, you've coasted on your parents' money and my resources since the day you could walk. Tell me, what have you built on your own? Ethan's mouth opened, but nothing came out. His silence was answer enough. Madison's voice rose, shrill and sharp. This is insane! You can't hand everything to Emily. She hasn't done anything to earn it. I turned to her, my voice steady, though my heart pounded. You mean I haven't played your games? I haven't sneered at people beneath me? I haven't lied my way to attention? My words cut sharper than I expected. Maybe that's why Grandpa trusts me. Her eyes widened, her face flushing red. For once, she had no witty retort. My mother finally stood, her chair screeching across the floor. Her hand trembled as she pointed at me. This is manipulation. Dad, you're too old to make decisions like this. She must have convinced you somehow. But Grandpa's voice thundered over hers. Quiet, Linda. Don't pretend this isn't the truth you've tried to bury for years. You've treated Emily like an outcast in her own home because you knew this day would come. And now it has. Her face crumpled, the color draining from her cheeks. She sank back into her chair, her eyes darting wildly as if looking for an escape. My father was next. He rose slowly, his voice cold. Dad, if you go through with this, you'll destroy this family. Grandpa's gaze hardened. No, Robert. This family destroyed itself the moment it chose cruelty over compassion, greed over love. I will not allow Emily to be your scapegoat any longer. The crowd murmured louder, the tension thickening with every word. Some leaned forward eagerly, watching the drama unfold like a theater play. Others shook their heads, whispering in disbelief. And then, for the first time in my life, I found my voice. Not shaky, not timid, but firm. You've all spent years reminding me I was nothing. Every birthday, every holiday, every dinner, I was the shadow in the room. You mocked me for not being like Ethan, for not chasing Madison's shallow perfection. But look at you now. All eyes turned to me. My chest rose and fell quickly, but I didn't stop. Ethan, you're terrified because your diploma doesn't guarantee you the power you thought you had. Madison, you're furious because Grandpa saw through your mask. Mom, you pulled my chair away tonight as if you could erase me. Dad, you stood silent every time they humiliated me. But guess what? I'm still standing. And for the first time, you're all the ones shaking, The words left my lips before I could second-guess them. My heart thundered, but I didn't regret a single syllable. Gasps rippled across the room. Ethan's fists clenched, his knuckles white. Madison's eyes glossed with angry tears. My mother looked like she might faint. My father's jaw tightened, but his silence was louder than any scream. Grandpa's hand rested on my shoulder, steady, grounding me. "That's the strength I've been waiting for," he said softly, though the words carried. "The strength they never wanted you to find." The room fell into stunned silence. Then, suddenly, Ethan lunged forward, his chair toppling behind him. "You think you're better than us now? You think you can just walk in here and take what's ours?" Before I could move, Grandpa slammed his cane against the table, his voice booming. "Sit down, Ethan, or you'll regret it." The force of his command froze Ethan in place. His chest heaved, his face red with fury, but he didn't move another step. Madison whispered frantically to my mother, but I caught fragments. "We can't let this happen. We'll lose everything. Do something!" I turned to them, my voice sharp. "Do something? What more could you possibly do? Haven't you already done enough? You tried to erase me. You humiliated me tonight in front of strangers. And still, here I am." The weight of my words pressed down on them, and I watched it sink in. For once, their power didn't matter. Their cruelty didn't matter, because the truth had finally come out. Grandpa raised his hand, silencing the room again. His eyes moved from one shocked face to another. "This is only the beginning. The documents are final. Tomorrow, Emily will stand not just as my granddaughter, but as the rightful heir of everything I've built. And any of you who cannot respect her place will find yourselves on the outside looking in." The hall went silent again. The energy shifted, almost tangible. For the first time, I wasn't invisible. For the first time, they weren't laughing. And deep inside me, beneath the fear and the trembling, something stronger sparked to life. This wasn't just about inheritance. This was about justice, and it was finally mine. The graduation hall was no longer about Ethan, the golden boy. The spotlight, unwanted, unexpected, burned on me. I could feel it in the way people stared, the way whispers thickened like smoke. My chest rose and fell sharply, but I refused to look away. My brother broke the silence first. His voice was strained, desperate. "This isn't fair, Grandpa. You can't take everything we've worked for and just hand it to her. She's not ready. She doesn't even know what to do with it." I met his eyes, steady now. "Maybe you're right, Ethan. Maybe I don't have every answer yet. But at least I didn't spend my life acting entitled to things I never earned." The words landed hard. Ethan flinched like I'd slapped him in front of everyone. His jaw clenched, but he had no comeback. Madison slammed her glass down so hard the stem cracked. "You think this changes anything? You'll still be the awkward girl no one wanted at the table. Money doesn't make you better than us." I tilted my head, my voice calm but sharp as a knife. "You're right. Money doesn't change who you are. It just reveals it. And tonight, everyone here has seen exactly who you are, Madison. A bully who can't stand the thought of someone else shining brighter." Her cheeks flushed crimson. She tried to speak, but her boyfriend muttered something under his breath and shifted uncomfortably away from her. Even he didn't want to be tied to her venom in this moment. Then came my mother. She stood slowly, smoothing her blazer with shaking hands, her voice trembling between rage and panic. "Emily, don't do this. You don't understand what you're stepping into. The family depends on this. Your father and I built this life for all of you. If you take it, you'll tear us apart." I turned fully to her. My throat tightened, but I didn't hold back. "Tear us apart? Mom, you've been tearing me apart for years. Every insult. Every time you told me I wasn't enough. Tonight you didn't just humiliate me. You made it clear I was never your daughter in your eyes. So don't pretend this family was ever whole. You broke it long before I ever found my voice." Her lips quivered. For the first time, she had nothing to say. My father rose slowly, his stare hard and unblinking. "Emily, listen carefully. Whatever papers your grandfather signed, they won't matter. Families find ways to correct mistakes." Grandpa's cane slammed against the ground, echoing like thunder. "And that's exactly why you'll never have control again, Robert. Your arrogance ends tonight. The entire room seemed to inhale at once. My father's face darkened, but he sat back down, his silence louder than words. I could feel my hands shaking, but this time it wasn't from fear. It was power. For the first time in my life, their voices didn't crush me. Mine rose above theirs. I looked around the hall. Cousins who once snickered at me couldn't meet my eyes. Aunts who whispered behind my back now looked ashamed. Even strangers, guests of Ethan, watched me with new respect, like they'd just witnessed something historic. I took a breath and stepped closer to the table, my voice carrying across the room. For years you told me I wasn't good enough, that I didn't belong. Tonight you pulled my chair away, thinking you could erase me, but all you did was give me a place to stand. And now everyone sees it. This family built walls to shut me out, but those walls just exposed the truth. You needed me more than I ever needed you, gasps filled the room again. The words came from a place I didn't know I had, a place carved from pain, silence, and survival. Grandpa's hand rested firmly on my shoulder. His voice, low but steady, followed mine. Emily doesn't just inherit what I've built. She inherits the chance to build something better. Something this family lost a long time ago. Integrity. Ethan collapsed back into his chair, his fists trembling on the table. Madison's mascara streaked down her cheeks as she wiped furiously at her face. My mother sat stiff, her eyes glassy, while my father's stare burned holes into the floor. I didn't need their approval anymore. One by one, the guests began clapping. It started slow, hesitant, almost nervous, but it grew louder, rolling like a wave across the hall until it was deafening. Strangers applauded the girl they once ignored. I swallowed hard, my chest aching. For the first time, their voices didn't drown me out. Mine was louder, stronger. I met Grandpa's eyes. He gave me the faintest nod, his expression proud. And in that moment, I realized this wasn't just his fight. It was mine. Because while they had tried to strip me of everything, tonight I stood taller than them all. The girl they tried to erase had finally taken her seat, without needing their chair. And this time, no one could pull it away again.